Imagine, if you will, the soft golden glow of candlelight flickering against stone walls that have stood for centuries. Outside, the wind whispers through ancient oak trees, carrying the scent of damp earth and distant fields. You are standing in a grand gallery where oil paintings of ancestors gaze down with eyes that have seen the rise and fall of empires. Everything here feels permanent. The heavy velvet curtains, the polished mahogany tables, the silence that speaks of generations of unquestioned authority. For many, this was the definition of nobility. It was not just a title, it was an anchor in a restless world. Families believed their legacies were carved in granite, protected by bloodlines, land, and the unshakable laws of tradition. But time is a patient, unrelenting force. It moves like a river, slowly eroding even the tallest cliffs, turning the jagged peaks of human ambition into smooth pebbles. Tonight we are not here to talk about wars, nor the clatter of swords, nor the loud, chaotic moments that fill textbooks. Instead, we are here to walk through the quiet corridors of memory, to explore how the golden age of aristocracy slowly transitioned into the soft sunset of change. What happens when the ink begins to fade on the land grants, when the economy shifts, not with a roar, but with a quiet, persistent whisper? How does a family built upon the foundation of centuries respond when the world simply grows beyond them? This is not a story of tragedy, but one of transformation. It is the story of how fortunes once thought to be as eternal as the mountains began to drift like autumn leaves, gently settling into the earth to nourish the soil of a new era. Close your eyes. Let the rhythm of history become your lullaby, and let us wander into a world of grand estates, flickering hearths, and the inevitable graceful passage of time. The channel's Sleepy History with Benedict is a storytelling platform created for entertainment, inspiration, education, and the promotion of positive emotional value. Picture the vast estates that once dotted the countryside of Europe, rolling hills of emerald green stretching toward the horizon, punctuated only by the manicured symmetry of a sprawling garden. These were not merely homes, they were self-contained universes. In the golden hours of the morning, when the mist clung to the valleys, these estates seemed to breathe, a living testament to a way of life that prioritized elegance above all else. Within the high ceilings of the great hall, time seemed to slow. Dust motes danced in the shafts of light that pierced through floor-to-ceiling windows. There was a rhythm to these days, a deliberate, slow pace set by the rising and setting of the sun. The library, smelling of aged parchment and leather bindings, held volumes that told the histories of families spanning generations. Here, the world outside, with its changing fashions and shifting politics, felt like a distant rumour. The aristocracy understood that their power was woven into the very fabric of their surroundings. Stone fireplaces were carved with the heraldry of ancestors, and every piece of furniture, every tapestry, served as a link in an unbreakable chain of succession. There was a profound comfort in this permanence. It was the belief that if you built well enough, if you honoured the traditions passed down to you, the world would remain in balance. The servants moved like shadows in the periphery, maintaining the clockwork precision of a household that functioned like a well-oiled machine. As we drift further into the history of these halls, consider the quiet dignity of the daily routine. The sound of a carriage on a gravel driveway, the soft clink of fine china during an afternoon tea, the rustle of silk gowns against hardwood floors, these were the small sensory anchors of the noble life. It was a life of exquisite detail, where the focus was on the preservation of beauty and the maintenance of dignity. But even in this sanctuary, the seeds of change were being sown in the soil of the changing centuries, waiting for the right moment to sprout, not with malice, but with the inevitable necessity of growth. Change rarely arrives with a crashing thunderclap. More often it comes like the turning of the seasons, so gradual that you barely notice the green leaves of summer fading into the amber and gold of autumn. For the great estates, this transition began in the quiet calculations of account books and ledgers. The land, once the singular source of pride and sustenance, began to demand more than it gave. New agricultural techniques were emerging, and the old ways of tilling the soil while steeped in tradition started to lose their competitive edge against the rising tide of innovation. The cost of maintaining these vast properties, the repair of stone masonry, the heating of drafty halls, the wages for the staff began to rise steadily. It was a subtle economic gravity, pulling gently on the foundations of wealth. Families who had managed their lands with a steady hand for centuries found themselves facing a new puzzle: how to keep the hearths burning when the cost of fuel and labour no longer aligned with the yield of the harvests. There was no immediate crisis, only a series of small, polite adjustments. A garden might be scaled back, a wing of the house might be closed off to save on maintenance. It was the quiet, dignified process of simplification. Many noble families viewed these choices as prudent management, a way to honour their ancestors by ensuring the estate remained functional. They spoke of downsizing with a sense of duty rather than despair. As we listen to the soft crackle of a distant fireplace, imagine these families sitting in their studies, pens in hand, recalculating their futures with the same calm resolve they used to plan their social seasons. They were not losing their dignity. They were merely learning to navigate the changing currents of a world that was moving toward a new horizon. The stability they cherished was shifting, yet they maintained a grace that was as resilient as the stone walls they called home. Beyond the ivy-covered gates of the great estates, the world outside was beginning to hum with a different kind of energy. The air was filling with the rhythm of commerce, the steady pulse of industry, and the ambition of a new class of people who defined themselves not by the titles they inherited, but by what they could build and achieve. For those born into the nobility, this was a foreign language. They were trained to manage land, to understand the lineage of horses, and to appreciate the nuances of art and diplomacy. They were not, however, trained for the rapid, frantic speed of the rising modern markets. It is fascinating to observe how social values slowly shifted. Wealth, once measured by the acreage of one's fields and the height of one's family tree, began to be measured by investments, trade, and the ability to adapt to a fluctuating economy. The noble families watched as fortunes were made in cities they rarely visited, in industries they barely understood. There was a sense of bewilderment, though rarely expressed in loud complaints. It was more of a quiet, internal realization that the landscape of power had fundamentally changed. Some chose to bridge this gap, embracing the new ways with a cautious curiosity. Others stayed firmly rooted in the old traditions, believing that eventually the world would return to the familiar patterns they knew so well. They held on to their grand titles and their ancestral homes as if they were talismans against the passage of time. And in this quiet resistance there was a poignant beauty. It was an attempt to preserve a specific kind of elegance, a way of living that valued the sunset over the horizon more than the dawn of a factory chimney. They were the keepers of a fading light, tending to the embers of an era that had already begun to turn into history. All stories on this channel, Sleepy History with Benedict, are fictional, thoughtfully crafted around historical themes and inspired by real events, figures and periods, reimagined for engaging storytelling. The content does not represent real individuals, actual events or documented cases. Any resemblance to real people, animals or events is purely coincidental. As we delve deeper into this peaceful narrative, one cannot help but admire the sheer dedication involved in preserving a family's legacy. Imagine the weight of living in a home that requires an army of hands just to keep the windows clean and the fires lit. These grand houses were architectural marvels, yet they were also demanding masters. To live within them was to be a curator of history, a guardian of ancestral memory. Often the decline of a fortune was not a sudden fall, but a slow, decades-long stewardship of diminishing returns. There is something deeply moving about the efforts these families made to keep their doors open. They would host modest gatherings, open parts of their gardens to the public, or carefully lease out peripheral farmlands, all in a quiet attempt to keep the walls standing and the history alive. It was a noble struggle, a quiet, honourable effort to maintain a standard of grace in an era that was no longer interested in the old ways. Before we continue our journey into the quiet corners of these estates, if you are finding this story a source of peace or inspiration, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us continue to craft these gentle historical journeys for you. By liking this video, you help others find this quiet space to rest and reflect. We are grateful to have you with us on this path of discovery. It is within this delicate balance of holding on and letting go that we find the most profound human truths. How much of our identity is tied to the places we live and the histories we carry? As the evening shadows lengthen, we find that these noble houses, even in their twilight years, hold a beauty that transcends money. They hold the echoes of laughter, the solemnity of tradition, and the quiet resilience of those who called them home, proving that even when the gold fades, the story remains. There comes a moment in the life of any great endeavour when the question shifts from "how can we save this?" to "how can we honour what has been?" For the aristocrats of this bygone era, this realization often arrived on quiet afternoons, perhaps while looking out over a garden that had seen better days, or while reading a ledger that no longer balanced as it once had. It was not a moment of panic, it was a moment of profound, quiet clarity. The dignity with which many of these families faced the downsizing of their lives is truly remarkable. They began to see that their identity was not defined by the height of the ceiling or the expanse of the estate, but by the continuity of their own character and the values they had cultivated. As the grand rooms were emptied of their heirlooms, items that had been in the family for generations, there was a sense of stewardship being passed on rather than lost. Each piece of furniture, each painting, each silver heirloom found its way into new hands, continuing its own journey through time. Think of it as the falling of leaves in winter. The tree is not dying, it is simply letting go of what it no longer needs to sustain its core. For these noble households, the letting go was a form of liberation. The pressure to maintain a facade of endless prosperity faded, replaced by the warmth of a smaller, more intimate existence. They found that life could be just as rich, perhaps even more so, in a house that fit their current needs rather than one that demanded their constant, exhausting service. In this space of release, there is a gentle wisdom to be found. It teaches us that our legacies are not anchored to material things, but to the memories we create and the kindness we extend to those around us. As you rest, reflect on the things in your own life that you hold on to out of habit rather than necessity, and consider the peace that might come from simply allowing them to drift away with the current of time. As the grand estates slowly transformed, the lives of those who once resided within them did not simply vanish, they evolved. There is a quiet, poetic beauty in how humanity adapts to the narrowing of horizons. Families who had grown up amidst marble pillars and vast tapestries found new homes in places that were perhaps less grand, but infinitely more manageable. The transition was often marked by a sense of shedding the unnecessary, a process of refinement that brought their daily lives into sharper focus. Imagine a study filled with sunlight, smaller than the ones of their ancestors, yet overflowing with the same warmth and intellectual curiosity. The portraits that once hung in long, echoing galleries were now placed with care in living rooms where they could be seen and cherished daily. This was not a descent into obscurity, it was a shift toward intimacy. The heavy, formal structures of the past were replaced by a lifestyle that allowed for more genuine connections, more time for conversation, for reading, for the simple, quiet appreciation of a well-poured cup of tea. This era of adaptation proved that nobility was never really about the architecture. It was a philosophy of existence, a commitment to courtesy, to learning, and to a certain steadfastness of spirit. Even as their material resources dwindled, many former landowners channeled their energy into new pursuits. Local community leadership, the preservation of art, or the study of the very history they were a part of. They became chroniclers of their own lives, writing down the stories that would otherwise be lost to the shifting sands of time. In this quiet transition, they discovered a freedom they had never known, the freedom from expectation. No longer required to maintain the grandeur of a public-facing estate, they were free to be themselves, to embrace the smaller, simpler joys that had been hidden behind the grandeur of their former status. It is a reminder for us all that our worth is not measured by the scale of our surroundings, but by the depth of our inner lives and the grace with which we meet the changing seasons of our own existence. There is a particular melancholy, soft and muted, that comes with the movement of heirlooms. When a family estate transitions, the dispersal of objects that have witnessed generations of life is a deeply symbolic act. A silver clock that ticked through the quiet nights of the Victorian era, a set of porcelain dishes that held countless family dinners, or a collection of leather-bound journals. Each of these items carries the weight of a story. They are vessels of memory, tethering the past to the present in a way that feels tangible and real. Often these items found their way into new homes, beginning second lives as curiosities or treasured mementos in the lives of strangers. There is a sense of comfort in knowing that a family's influence does not end with the sale of a house. Instead, it spreads, one object at a time, into the wider world. The mahogany table that once seated dukes might now support a young student's books, or the painting that once loomed over a fireplace might now offer a splash of colour and elegance to a quiet cottage. The beauty of the past is thus democratized, flowing out from the narrow channels of the aristocracy into the vast sea of common experience. If you're feeling particularly relaxed as you listen to these stories of passage and change, we invite you to share this experience with a friend or a loved one who might also appreciate a quiet moment of reflection. Sharing this video is a wonderful way to grow our community of peaceful listeners. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to Sleepy History with Benedict. Your presence here in this digital space of calm is what allows us to keep turning the pages of history for you. As these objects moved, they carried with them the echoes of the homes they left behind. They remind us that we are all, in our own way, caretakers of the past. We carry the habits, the values, and the memories of those who came before us. Even if we do not possess their castles or their titles, we are the sum of those who walked before, and in our own quiet daily lives we are writing the chapters that will eventually become the history of tomorrow. Let the thought of this continuity bring you a sense of belonging as you drift further into the stillness. When the human presence in these grand estates began to wane, the gardens, the silent witnesses to centuries of history, did not mourn. Instead, they began a slow, beautiful process of reclaiming their original form. Nature, with its infinite patience, started to soften the sharp edges of stone walls and marble statues. Ivy climbed with a gentle insistence, tracing the patterns of history with leaves of emerald, while wild flowers blossomed in the cracks of once pristine gravel paths. It was as if the earth were breathing a sigh of relief, welcoming back the wild and the untamed. There is a profound sense of peace in this vision. Imagine walking through a garden where the roses have grown into hedges and the statues are dappled with the golden light of late afternoon. The statues themselves, once symbols of power and status, become part of the landscape, serene, moss-covered figures that seem to smile at the passing of time. The birds sing with the same melodies they sang when the halls were filled with guests, indifferent to the shifting fortunes of those who lived within. The wind moves through the trees, playing the same soft, whispering music that it played 100 years ago. This is the cycle of all things. When we remove the artifice of human hierarchy, we are left with the fundamental truth of the land itself. The estate, in its quiet, returning wildness, becomes a sanctuary once more. But now it belongs to the morning dew, the afternoon shadows, and the silent, silver moonlight. It is a reminder that beauty persists even when our human definitions of success fail. The garden remains, a testament to the fact that even in the absence of owners, the world continues to be filled with life, colour, and a quiet, persistent grace. As you listen to the rustle of imaginary leaves and the soft chirping of birds in this fading garden, let your mind rest in the certainty that all things return to a state of equilibrium. There is no need for worry or struggle in this space of growth and rest. The earth knows how to heal, how to grow, and how to find beauty in every passing season. Feel the peace of this natural rhythm and allow yourself to sink into the quiet, cool comfort of the present moment. As we reach the later stages of our quiet journey, it is worth asking, what is it that truly lingers after the gold is gone? If history teaches us anything, it is that the status, the titles, and the vast estates are but fleeting garments. The true nobility, the kind that survives the passage of centuries and the shifting of economies, lies within the human spirit. It is found in the quiet integrity of a person who keeps their word, in the gentle patience shown to a stranger, and in the resilience required to rebuild when the old world fades. Think of those who moved on from their ancestral homes. They did not lose their worth. Instead, they carried their experiences, their manners, and their capacity for grace into new environments. They taught us that being noble is not a matter of birthright, but a matter of character. It is an internal landscape of kindness, responsibility, and an appreciation for the beauty that exists in the smallest things. Anyone, in any time, can embody this. To live with grace, to listen with empathy, and to treat others with respect. These are the timeless traits that define a true legacy. If this exploration of history and character has brought a sense of calm to your evening, we would love to hear from you in the comments section. What does nobility mean to you in your own life? Sharing your thoughts helps us foster a kind and thoughtful community here at Sleepy History with Benedict. Engaging with each other creates a space of shared reflection where we can all learn and find comfort together. Please feel free to leave a comment, as your voice is a valued part of our collective story. As you reflect on these qualities, let them settle into your own heart. You are the architect of your own legacy, built not with stone and mortar but with the quiet daily choices you make. There is a deep, soothing power in knowing that your value is inherent, constant, and entirely your own. As you prepare to drift deeper into rest, let go of the need to be anything other than your kindest, most authentic self. The world will be here when you wake, but for now, the only thing that matters is the peace you find in this very moment. As we come to the end of this quiet meditation, look back once more at the path we have travelled. We have wandered through long, sun-dappled galleries, paced the gravel driveways of fading estates, and stood in the gardens where nature gracefully reclaims its own. We have seen that the decline of a fortune is not a tragedy, but rather a surrender, a gentle letting go of the heavy burdens that once defined a life. Like the falling of a leaf, it is a necessary, beautiful, and inevitable part of the rhythm of existence. There is a profound sense of relief in realizing that nothing is meant to stay the same forever. The grand houses of the past were built to be shelters, but they were also meant to be temporary. The true home is the one we carry within ourselves, the quiet space of peace, the reservoir of memories, and the calm clarity that comes when we stop trying to hold on to the past with a clenched fist. When we release our grip on what we think we should have, we become open to the beauty of what we actually have right now. The soft rhythm of your own breath, the cooling air of the room, and the deepening quiet of the night. History, in its true essence, is not just a collection of dates and names. It is a long, comforting song that tells us we are never alone. The people of the past, in their own time, felt the same anxieties, the same quiet joys, and the same desire for rest that you feel tonight. They too were explorers of their own lives, navigating the currents of their eras with the tools they had, and now their stories have become a lullaby for us, a way to anchor our own restless minds in the vast, deep ocean of human experience. Let the stories of these noble houses, now resting in the archives of time, serve as a pillow for your thoughts. You are safely tucked away in the present, detached from the demands of the world. The echoes of the past are faint, friendly whispers that invite you to close your eyes, to let go of your burdens, and to surrender to the deep healing embrace of sleep. You have done enough, you have travelled enough, and now it is time to be still. This content is inspired by and adapted from public domain works available through Project Gutenberg. The material has been transformed through original narration, editing, and storytelling to create a unique experience for educational and entertainment purposes. Deep within the archives of our imaginary history, there lived a man named Arthur. For over 50 years he had been the steady hand behind the curtains of a once great estate. He knew the squeak of every floorboard, the precise hour the afternoon sun would strike the library rug, and the gentle sighs of a house that seemed to settle into its foundations just as he did each evening. To Arthur, the estate was not merely a structure of wood and stone. It was a living entity, one that had cared for the family for generations, and now it was simply resting. He spent his days in quiet routines that remained unchanged by the shifting currents of the world outside. He polished the silver that no longer saw many guests. He trimmed the ivy that dared to obscure the view of the valley, and he kept the hearths ready for the warmth they once held in abundance. He was not clinging to the past out of stubbornness. He was holding a space of reverence. He understood, perhaps better than anyone, that the true legacy of a family was found in the small, consistent acts of care. The way a cup of tea was served, the way a book was returned to its shelf, the way the silence was respected. Often, in the late hours of the night when the house was at its most peaceful, Arthur would sit in the staff room listening to the wind against the tall chimneys. He remembered the echoes of laughter that had once filled the grand hall, a child's giggle, the rustle of evening gowns, the deep, resonant voices of discussions about the future of the world. Now those voices were memories woven into the fabric of the walls and the patterns of the drapes. He felt no sadness in this shift, only a profound sense of gratitude for having been a witness to the unfolding of a story that lasted much longer than any single person. He saw the decline of the family's fortune not as a loss of status, but as a shedding of a heavy golden cloak. When the master of the house would come to him with a troubled brow, concerned about the shrinking accounts or the need to sell off parts of the land, Arthur would simply offer a warm drink and a listening ear. He would speak softly, reminding them that the land remained, the sun would still rise over the valley, and the family name was not etched in silver, but in the history of the hills themselves. In his presence, the anxiety would always seem to soften, turning into a quiet, manageable acceptance. As you drift in your own journey tonight, imagine yourself in a space as stable and as comforting as Arthur's quiet halls. Everything is exactly as it should be. Let us turn our attention now to Eleanor, a young woman who grew up amidst the fading opulence of the ancestral manor. While others might have mourned the thinning of the family fortune, Eleanor found within it an unexpected gift, the gift of anonymity. For generations, the women of her family were expected to be ornaments of the grand halls, defined by their lineage and their adherence to rigid social expectations. But as the wealth began to recede like a tide, the heavy expectations began to lift as well. Eleanor spent her mornings not in the formal gardens, but in the untamed meadows that bordered the estate. Here, she was not a daughter of a noble house, but simply a witness to the changing season. She watched the hawks circle the clouds and the wildflowers sway in the gentle breeze, realizing that the world was vast and indifferent to titles. This realization brought her a sense of profound, quiet joy. She began to understand that the true richness of life was not found in the grand ballrooms that were now increasingly silent, but in the ability to walk freely through the world, unburdened by the weight of a name. She became a student of the small things. She learned the names of the birds that nested in the eaves of the manor, the patterns of the moss on the north-facing stones, and the exact shade of the sky just before the stars appeared. In this process she was redefining her own legacy. She was building a wealth of observation, empathy, and internal strength. When the day finally came that the family decided to move to a more modest life, Eleanor felt no fear. She knew that she was not leaving home behind, she was carrying the essence of it within her. In your own life, have you ever felt the weight of expectations, perhaps the expectations of others, or perhaps even those you have placed upon yourself? Imagine, as Eleanor did, the sensation of setting those burdens down. Feel the lightness that comes when you stop trying to maintain a facade and simply allow yourself to be. Like the quiet halls that eventually lose their need for grand displays, you too can find peace in the simplicity of being exactly who you are, right here, in this moment of deep, undisturbed rest. There is a soft, rhythmic melancholy to the way things leave a home. Consider the small items, the brass key that once opened a heavy oak door, the leather journal containing pressed flowers from a summer long past, or the porcelain clock that had marked the heartbeat of the family for a century. As these objects were carefully wrapped in soft tissue and prepared for their journey elsewhere, there was no sound of shattering, only the quiet, rustling noise of transition. Each item was a story, a fragment of a life that was now being shared with the rest of the world. These objects did not go into oblivion, they simply migrated. The clock would soon grace a new mantle, its steady tick-tock filling a different room with the rhythm of time. The journal would be opened by someone else, perhaps a dreamer or a scholar, who would find peace in the faded handwriting and the beauty of the preserved blossoms. It is a beautiful thought to consider that nothing is truly lost. Everything we touch, everything we hold dear, eventually flows into the great river of history, becoming part of the collective experience of humanity. As the house grew emptier, it did not feel desolate. Instead, it felt lighter, as if it were finally shedding the weight of its own history. The bare walls seemed to inhale and exhale with the quiet air of the countryside, undisturbed by the clutter of possessions. For those who had lived there, this was the final act of stewardship, ensuring that every item found a place where it would be valued once more. It was a final gesture of generosity, a way of scattering the seeds of their legacy into the wide, waiting world. You might feel at this moment that you too are preparing for a new kind of rest. Like these keepsakes, you are tucked away in the safety of this present moment, ready to drift into the quiet currents of sleep. The things of the day, the tasks, the thoughts, the small weights you carried are being laid down one by one. You are letting them go, trusting that they will be there if you need them, but for now they are no longer yours to hold. You are light, you are unburdened, and you are ready to float upon the gentle tide of the coming night. Everything is quiet, everything is calm, and everything is at rest. The final evening in the manor house was not marked by sadness, but by a profound golden stillness. As the sun began to dip below the distant tree line, painting the hills in hues of soft violet and amber, the family gathered in the drawing-room, a space that felt larger now, breathing in the quiet of the dusk. They did not speak much. There was no need for words in a room where the air itself seemed to carry the weight of 1,000 happy memories. They sat together, listening to the soft settling of the floorboards and the gentle rustle of the ivy against the window-pane. They realized then that they were not leaving their home behind. They were simply transitioning to a new chapter of a story that they had helped to write. The manor had been a shelter, a container for their laughter, their quiet moments of reflection, and the steady growth of their lives. But now it was time for the house to rest, to hold on to the echoes of the past within its stone walls, and to welcome the quiet beauty of the nights to come. There was a sense of completion, like the final note of a long and beautiful symphony that lingers in the air, vibrating softly before it fades into absolute silence. As they looked around the room one last time, they saw not the loss of a legacy, but the endurance of it, the way the light caught the dust motes, the way the shadows stretched to welcome the night. It was all part of the same rhythm that guided the stars and the seasons. They stood up with a sense of peace that was deeper than any they had known before. There was no clinging, no lingering regret, only a calm understanding that they were stepping out into a vast open landscape where the future was as bright and as welcoming as the sunrise they knew would follow the darkness. As you lie here, enveloped in the quiet of your own space, imagine that same sunset washing over your thoughts. Let the colours fade into the gentle, comfortable darkness of a deep and restorative sleep. You are in a place of total safety, where the transitions of life are handled with grace and the quiet promise of peace. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to manage, and nothing to worry about. The night is soft, the air is still, and you are ready to drift into the deepest, most tranquil rest you have ever known. There is a quiet, hidden strength in understanding that we are all, in truth, travelers. We move through rooms, through seasons, through chapters of experience, and we carry with us only what the heart can hold. For the noble households we have walked with in our stories, the loss of their estates was not the end of their journey, but the beginning of a lighter, more focused way of being. They learned, as we all must, that the spaces we inhabit are merely temporary stages upon which the quiet drama of our lives unfolds. Imagine yourself walking through a vast, beautiful landscape, but you have no bags to carry, no heavy burdens to pull along. Your hands are free, your mind is clear, and the path ahead is softly lit by the gentle glow of your own inner peace. This is the state of the true traveller, one who finds beauty in the passing scenery, who appreciates the warmth of the sun and the coolness of the shade, but who is never so attached to any one spot that they cannot move forward with grace when the time comes. This sense of detachment is not about coldness, it is about profound freedom. When we stop defining our worth by the things we surround ourselves with, the grand titles, the heirlooms, the stone walls, we start to see the true shape of our own spirit. It is vast, it is resilient, and it is capable of finding joy in the smallest, most fleeting moments. The sound of a distant bell, the smell of rain on dry earth, the steady rhythmic beating of your own heart, these are the true markers of our existence. As you rest in the comfort of your surroundings, let go of the need to be the owner of anything. You are not defined by what you possess, but by the kindness you offer, the wisdom you gather, and the peace you cultivate within. Allow yourself to be as fluid and as calm as a river that flows toward the sea. It does not fight the rocks or the bends in the path, it simply continues moving with a quiet, unwavering certainty toward the stillness of the deep. Sleep now, with the knowledge that you are exactly where you are meant to be. When the sun finally descends and the world is draped in the velvet cloak of night, a different kind of life begins within the walls of these ancient estates. It is the time of the moonlight, the silent guardian that sweeps through empty halls and touches the surfaces of once busy rooms with a silver, ethereal glow. Under this soft radiance, the architecture sheds its worldly purpose. The grand staircases no longer lead to social gatherings, and the formal dining rooms no longer hold the chatter of guests. Instead, they become cathedrals of shadow and light, spaces where time itself seems to hold its breath. There is something deeply comforting about this transformation. The moonlight does not care for titles, for wealth, or for the histories written in account books. It falls with equal grace upon the peeling paint of a forgotten study and the polished wood of a preserved antique. It reminds us that there is a beauty in the process of fading. When we move beyond our own active roles in the world, we become part of this broader, quieter narrative. We are no longer defined by our efforts, our plans, or our expectations. We are simply present, existing in the cool blue calm of the night. Imagine yourself being bathed in this same gentle moonlight. It is a light that does not demand, does not judge, and does not push. It simply surrounds you, offering a cool relief to the warmth of a busy day. It invites you to soften your edges, to let your thoughts dissolve into the shadows, and to trust that the darkness is not an end, but a resting place, a sanctuary for the mind. The history of the house, the history of the families, and the history of your own day all blend together into a singular, quiet pulse of existence. As the moonlight glides over the surfaces of your life, feel the tension leaving your shoulders, feel the weight of the day falling away, bit by bit, as the silver light reveals the simplicity beneath the complexity. You are safe, you are held by the silence. The world outside may continue its hum, but here, in the sanctuary of your own consciousness, everything is still, everything is at peace. Let the silver light of the moon guide you toward the threshold of sleep, where all stories eventually find their way to a quiet, undisturbed conclusion. Have you ever noticed how the seasons breathe? In the spring there is a gentle expansion, a slow waking up of the earth that mirrors the excitement of new beginnings. In the summer, there is a fullness, a vibrant energy that fills the gardens and the halls alike. But it is in the autumn and the quiet, crystalline days of winter that we find the true rhythm of endurance. For the aristocratic homes we have imagined, the cycle was not a decline, but a return to the natural order. As the leaves drift down to cover the stone pathways, they are not just falling, they are returning to the soil to nourish the roots of what will grow in the coming year. It is a lesson in humility and faith. The grand estates, as they softened under the touch of the elements, were doing exactly what the ancient forests have done for millennia. They were becoming part of the landscape once more. There is no resistance in this process, only a graceful surrender to the inevitable shift of tides. In your life, you are also moving through these cycles. There are times when you are called to build, to strive, and to gather. But there are also these moments, these quiet, golden evenings when you are called to let go, to rest, and to simply be. This is not a time of loss. It is a time of replenishing. You are drawing back your energy, settling into the stillness, and preparing your spirit for the seasons that lie ahead. The exhaustion of the day is just the falling leaf, ready to nourish the peace that will bloom within you when you wake. Trust in the rhythm. Trust that you do not need to hold everything together at all times. The universe has a way of balancing itself, of turning shadows into light and rest into vitality. As you listen to the steady, calm tone of this narrative, let your heartbeat synchronize with the slower, deeper pulse of the world around you. You are part of something vast, something ancient, and something deeply nurturing. There is nothing you need to solve, no legacy you need to protect tonight. Just breathe and let the cycle of rest carry you further away from the noise of the day and deeper into the cradle of the night. Imagine, in the quietest hours before dawn, a soft mist begins to roll across the valley, wrapping the estate in a delicate, translucent veil. It softens the sharp outlines of the stone walls, blurs the edges of the garden paths, and turns the grand manor into a dreamlike silhouette. In this stillness, the boundaries between what was and what is, between history and memory, seem to dissolve entirely. It is a moment of suspension, a point in time where the world holds its breath, waiting for the light to return. There is a unique comfort in being surrounded by this mist. It acts as a cocoon, shielding you from the demands of the world, from the clutter of thoughts, and from the passage of time itself. Within the mist, there is no need to navigate. There is only the need to be present. The history of the manor, with all its joys, its quiet challenges, and its graceful transitions, is folded away into the white, silent air. You are floating in a space of pure potential, a place where the only thing that exists is the gentle, steady rise and fall of your own breath. Think of this mist as a cleanser for the mind. As it settles around you, let it absorb any lingering worries, any lists of things left undone, and any echoes of the day's activities. Let them drift into the vapour, losing their substance, becoming as light and as formless as the fog itself. You are becoming lighter too. You are drifting away from the shore of wakefulness, carried by the calm currents of a night that is designed for your restoration. The manor, with its long history of changing tides, is now just a distant, friendly memory in a landscape of total serenity. As the fog curls around you, feel a profound sense of safety. You are in a sanctuary created by time and silence, a place where the world cannot reach you, and where you have nothing to do but drift. There is no destination, no rush to arrive, and no pressure to be anything other than exactly what you are in this moment. The mist is your blanket, the silence is your pillow, and the slow rhythmic pulse of the earth is your lullaby. Give yourself permission to let go completely, to surrender to the softening of the world, and to fall into the deep, welcoming embrace of your own quiet mind. As the night deepens, the grand stories of the past begin to settle like fine dust in the library of your mind. You have wandered through the corridors of history, walked the gardens of memory, and touched the velvet of a bygone era. You have seen how families grand and proud learned the art of gentle letting go. You have witnessed the way the earth reclaims its own, and how beauty persists long after the gold has faded. Now the final chapter of this day is drawing to a close. The manor house in your imagination is now dark and still. The candles have flickered out, the hearths have cooled to a soft glowing ember, and the hallways are filled with the tranquil silence of the stars. There is a sense of completion here. The history has been honoured, the lessons have been whispered, and the time for rest has arrived. You are the final guest in this house of memories, and as you prepare to leave, you carry with you a sense of lightness, a feeling of being unburdened by the weight of time. Notice how quiet your own room has become. Notice the weight of the blankets against your skin, the soft texture of your pillow, and the slow, steady rhythm of the air entering and leaving your lungs. You are not in the past anymore, you are safely anchored in the present. The history of the world is vast and complex, but right now your world is simple, warm, and entirely your own. You have earned this moment of absolute stillness. You have walked through the day with purpose, and now you deserve the healing power of the night. Let the final traces of the story dissolve into the darkness behind your closed eyes. The figures of the past, the grand estates, and the golden sunlight are fading into the gentle grey of a dream. You are not holding on to anything. You are not building anything. You are just resting. Like a feather landing on a still glass-like lake, you are coming to a place of perfect undisturbed quiet. Feel the drift, the slow downward pull of sleep, inviting you to let go of the last remnants of wakefulness. Everything is done. Everything is complete. Now simply sleep. If you look closely at the architecture of a dream, you might notice that it is built not of stone, mortar, or grand marble columns, but of silence itself. Think back to the vast, echoing ballrooms we have visited. Those spaces were never truly defined by their dimensions, but by the quality of the quiet that inhabited them once the music stopped. In that silence there is a profound honesty. A house that has stood for centuries learns how to listen to the wind, how to hold the heat of the sun in its thick walls, and how to exhale when the moon rises. When we step into this space, we are not just entering a physical structure, we are entering an archive of human experience. Every floorboard that creaks under the weight of shadow has a story to tell, of footsteps hurried by youth, of quiet walks taken in contemplation, or of the slow, steady pacing of those who sought answers in the night. Yet, tonight, that architecture is changing for you. It is no longer an imposing structure of authority or legacy. It has become a sanctuary of softness. The ceilings seem to lower, becoming like a gentle sky over your bed, and the walls seem to move outward, creating an infinite space for your mind to expand and rest. Consider the craftsmanship that went into these estates, the intricate carvings on a mahogany desk, the delicate lace curtains that filtered the light into soft honeyed tones, the way a chandelier was hung to catch the sparkle of a candle flame. These were attempts to capture beauty, to freeze a moment of grace in a material form, but even the finest craftsmanship eventually bows to the gentle pressure of time, and yet there is no sadness in this. To see a piece of wood age, to see a fabric lose its vibrant colour, is to see the passage of time made visible. It is a reminder that we too are changing, softening, and settling into the shape of our own lives. As you lie here, allow yourself to be the most refined piece of architecture in this space. Your breath is the steady ticking of the clock, your heartbeat is the foundation of the home, and your mind is the expansive gallery where all your pleasant memories are hung like masterpieces. You do not need to maintain this structure. You do not need to polish the silver or trim the ivy. The house of your consciousness is being cared for by the night itself. Everything is sturdy, everything is secure, and everything is waiting for you to simply close your eyes and dwell in the perfect, undisturbed quiet. You are safe within these walls, held by the gentle, cooling embrace of the dark, and drifting slowly, ever so slowly, into the deep. Imagine, now that we are walking through the double mahogany doors of a library that time has long since forgotten. The air here is cool and still, scented with the comforting, earthy aroma of aging parchment, leather bindings, and the faint, sweet trace of lavender tucked into the pages of a dusty atlas. This is not a library designed for study or for the frantic pursuit of answers. It is a repository of dreams, a sanctuary where the weight of the world is left outside, replaced by the hushed, intimate presence of thousands of stories. Here the silence is not empty. It is thick, textured, and deeply soothing, like a soft blanket wrapped around your thoughts. As you wander down the narrow aisles, the shelves tower above you, filled with books whose spines have faded to muted shades of ochre, sage, and deep seafoam blue. If you were to run your fingers along the gold-leaf lettering of a title, you would feel the texture of history, a slight roughness, a bump of relief, a sense of having been touched by countless others who, just like you, sought refuge in the quiet. In this place, every book is a closed door to a different life, a different time, and a different way of seeing the world. You do not need to open them, you do not need to read them. Their mere presence is enough to remind you that the human experience is vast, endless, and entirely capable of being understood through the lens of calm. Think of your own mind as this library, all the experiences you have gathered throughout your life, the lessons, the memories, the moments of joy, and the quiet instances of sorrow are like these books, safely shelved and organized in the vast dim light of your subconscious. You do not need to pull them down tonight. You do not need to review the pages of the past or worry about the plot of the future. The library is closed, the doors are locked, and the caretaker has dimmed the lamps. Everything is exactly where it belongs, kept safe in the stillness, waiting for another day. As you stand in the center of this imaginary room, let the quiet seep into your bones. Feel your shoulders drop, your jaw relax, and your breathing become as slow and rhythmic as the turning of a page in a dream. You are the only person in this sanctuary now, and it is a space built entirely for your restoration. There is no urgency here, no ticking of the clock, no demands of the outside world, just the presence of quiet stories and the vast, comforting space of your own mind. You are drifting effortlessly into a deeper state of relaxation, where the words turn into whispers, and the whispers turn into the soft, velvet dark of sleep. You are resting, you are safe, and you are ready to be still. Picture yourself standing in a long, wide gallery where the morning light, or perhaps it is the gentle silver glow of the moon, filters through tall, arched windows, casting elongated shadows across the polished oak floor. Along these walls, hanging in gilded frames that have mellowed with the decades, are the portraits of those who once called this estate their home. There are men with steady, watchful eyes, and women whose gowns of silk and velvet seem to ripple even in the stillness. Yet as you walk among them, you realize they are not watching you. They are caught in a deep, eternal reverie, their own gazes fixed on a horizon that only they can see. There is a profound sense of peace in observing them. They are no longer bound by the ambitions, the anxieties, or the fleeting concerns that defined their days when they were walking these halls. They have achieved the ultimate stillness, a state of grace where they have become part of the very fabric of the house. As you pass by each frame, you feel a sense of kinship. They too were once restless. They too once worried about the future and the weight of their duties. But look at them now, so utterly calm, so perfectly at rest. They are a testament to the fact that even the most vibrant life eventually finds its way to this gentle, quiet conclusion. In this gallery, the air smells faintly of beeswax and old oil paint, a scent that is both clean and deeply familiar. It is a space where the past is not a haunting presence, but a comforting one, a collection of shadows and light that serves to anchor you in the present. You are the only living soul moving through this silent parade, and your heartbeat is the only rhythm that matters here. With each step you take, you are letting go of the need to be somebody. You are shedding the labels, the expectations, and the roles you play in the waking world. You are becoming as still, as graceful, and as timeless as the figures in the portraits. Let your focus drift from the eyes in the paintings to the darkness between the frames. Feel how that darkness is soft, inviting, and cool. It is the same darkness that is waiting for you in your bed, a soft tide of rest that is ready to carry you away. As you reach the end of the gallery, you find a heavy velvet curtain draped over an archway. Behind it lies the deep, undisturbed silence of the night, You have seen the history, you have walked the path, and now you have arrived at the threshold of total surrender. There is no more to do, no more to see, and no more to think. The gallery is quiet, the portraits are dreaming, and you are ready to fold yourself into the peace that has been waiting for you all along. You are letting go, drifting and falling into the most beautiful, weightless rest you have ever known. Beyond the heavy oak doors of the grand hall lies the conservatory, a glass-walled sanctuary that, even in the deepest heart of winter, remains a realm of crystalline beauty. Step inside with me and feel the sudden subtle shift in the air. It is cooler here, crisp and clean, tasting faintly of damp moss and the dormant potential of sleeping seeds. Everything in this space is held in a state of suspended animation. The ferns are uncurled in delicate, frost-dusted patterns. The pale white blossoms of the winter jasmine cling to the glass, glowing faintly in the moonlight, and the air itself seems to be holding its breath, waiting for the return of the sun, whenever that may be. There is a profound meditative quality to a garden that has chosen to go inward. It is not struggling against the cold, it is embracing it. It has learned the art of conserving its vitality, of drawing its strength deep into its roots, far beneath the frozen earth. Just as the garden retreats into itself to find warmth, you too can withdraw from the outer world. Let your awareness sink down, past the surface of your skin, past the gentle rise and fall of your chest, and deep into the core of your own quiet being. You are not losing energy by resting. You are cultivating it, nourishing your spirit in the absolute stillness of this winter's night. Listen to the silence here. It is not a hollow, empty silence, but a living, breathing thing. It is the sound of the world slowing down, the soft rustle of a leaf against the glass, the faint, melodic drip of melted frost, the quiet creak of the structure as it settles into the ground. Each sound is a small, rhythmic heartbeat that anchors you to the present moment. You are not a guest in this garden, you are a part of it. You are as still as the sleeping lilies, as patient as the ancient gnarled roots, and as ready for the soft, inevitable drift of sleep as the world is for the coming of spring. Imagine now that you are reclining on a velvet bench in the centre of this glass sanctuary. Above you the sky is a tapestry of velvet black, scattered with diamonds of distant cold light. You are perfectly sheltered, perfectly warm and perfectly at peace. Any lingering thoughts of your day, the obligations, the conversations, the small persistent worries are like the condensation on the glass. Watch them as they bead up, slide down and disappear into the dark, moist earth below. They are no longer yours to hold. You have set them down, and they have been absorbed into the silence. You are weightless, you are tranquil, and you are surrounded by the protective, soothing embrace of the night. Sleep is not far away now. It is a soft, flowing current, rising slowly to meet you, inviting you to let go, to drift, and to finally, blissfully, close your eyes and rest. As you leave the glass sanctuary behind, find yourself walking along a quiet, stone-paved path that seems to float above the landscape. Below you, the world is draped in a soft, misty darkness, a velvet tapestry of deep blues and purples. You are walking along a bridge not made of wood or stone but of light. Each step you take is firm and steady, yet strangely weightless, as if you're moving through a dream where gravity has been gently set aside. Above you the stars are not distant points of cold fire, they are large, luminous lanterns casting a soft, rhythmic pulse of silver light that seems to harmonize with the slow, steady thrumming of your own heartbeat. This bridge connects the world of your waking life to the vast, peaceful expanse of your dreams. As you walk, you notice that the burdens you once carried, the lists of things to do, the echoes of conversations, the persistent rhythm of what if, are simply fading away behind you, left on the other side of the bridge. They have no place here. In this space there is only the forward motion, the gentle air against your skin, and the feeling of becoming lighter with every passing moment. You are shedding the heavy cloak of identity, the need to achieve, and the pressure to be anywhere other than exactly where you are. Listen closely to the silence of this place. It is a profound musical silence, vibrating with the quiet melody of the universe. It is the same melody that hums through the trees, that ripples across the surface of deep, dark lakes, and that settles into the fibers of your being as you prepare to close your eyes. You are becoming as fluid as the starlight, as calm as the night air, and as ready for the depths of sleep as the river is for the sea. There is a sweet, intoxicating sense of surrender here, a realization that you do not need to steer, you do not need to arrive, and you do not need to be strong. You simply need to be. Feel the pull of the night becoming stronger now, a gentle magnetic tug towards the deep restorative darkness that lies ahead. It is not a frightening dark, it is a warm, enveloping cocoon of safety, like a ship finally finding its harbour after a long, beautiful voyage. You are coming to rest. The bridge is smooth. The stars are watching over you, and the destination, that perfect quiet sanctuary of sleep, is right here waiting. Let your breath become shallow, let your limbs become heavy, and let your mind dissolve into the soft, shimmering expanse of the night. You have travelled far, you have seen much, and now you have earned this profound, blissful cessation of all effort. Sleep is folding you into its arms, and you are finally, completely at peace. We have travelled through the corridors of history, drifted through the gardens of winter, and crossed the bridges of starlight. Now we reach the final destination, a room that exists outside of time. It is a chamber defined by its simplicity. The walls are not made of stone or wood, but of a soft velvet darkness that seems to absorb all noise, all movement, and all complexity. Here there are no paintings, no books, no keys to turn. There is only the feeling of being completely and utterly held. You are at last in the sanctuary of your own internal quiet. As you step into the centre of this room, you feel the final layers of doing fall away. The need to remember, the need to plan, the need to understand, they all dissolve like salt in a warm, calm ocean. You are sitting on a cushion of soft shadow, and the air around you is perfectly still. There is no wind here, no change in temperature, just a perfect, balanced atmosphere that welcomes you home. This is the place where the day ends, where the noise of the world is rendered silent, and where you are free to simply exist without the weight of a name, a role, or a history. Focus all of your attention now on the sensation of your own body settling down. Feel the mattress beneath you as if it were the earth itself, solid and unwavering, supporting you with effortless grace. Feel your feet, your legs, your hips, and your spine releasing their grip on the day. Your shoulders, which have carried so much, are now soft and loose. Your jaw, often tight with the unspoken words of the day, is parted just enough to let your breath flow freely. You are not holding on to anything. You are not defending anything. You are merely a presence, a quiet pulse in the vast velvet dark. In this chamber, time does not move in a line. It moves in circles. It is the circle of your breath, in and out. In and out. Each cycle is a little slower, a little deeper, and a little more profound than the last. With every exhale, you are drifting further away from the surface of your conscious mind. You are descending into the cool, refreshing waters of your own subconscious, where dreams are already beginning to weave their intricate, beautiful patterns. You are safe here. You are completely protected by the stillness of the night. There is no horizon to reach for, no task to complete, no tomorrow to prepare for. There is only this singular golden moment of total surrender. As you float here in the heart of this final chamber, know that you have done enough. You have witnessed the story, you have learned the lessons, and you have honoured the journey. Now, it is time to close the book. The house is quiet, the gardens are sleeping, and the bridge is still. You are becoming one with the silence. The darkness is not empty. It is full of peace, full of rest, and full of the quiet promise of renewal. Let go of the last flicker of wakefulness. Surrender to the heaviness in your eyelids. You are descending, drifting, and falling into the most deep, silent, and restorative sleep you have ever known. Everything is at rest. You are at rest. Now, even the concept of a room or a chamber begins to fade, becoming as soft and indistinct as a dream upon waking. Imagine you are floating on a calm, silent sea at midnight. The water is a dark, warm silk that cradles you entirely, removing the boundary between where you end and where the world begins. You are not floating on the water, you are part of it. The gentle, rhythmic swell of the tides is the same rhythm as your own breathing, slow, deep, and infinitely peaceful. Above you, the sky is a mirror of the depths below, infinite and silent, sprinkled with stars that glow with a steady, non-demanding light. There is no distance left to travel. There is no destination to reach. The entire journey of the manor, the gardens, the library, and the galleries has brought you to this precise moment of pure existence. You are no longer you in the sense of a person with tasks or worries or a history. You are a spark of quiet consciousness, a witness to the vast, soothing stillness of the night. Feel the sensation of drifting, a slow, gentle pull that takes you deeper into the dark, velvety expanse of your own mind. It is a place of profound safety, a place where all tension is simply forgotten, as if it never existed at all. Notice how the noise of your thoughts has narrowed down to a single, quiet frequency, a soft internal hum that signals total relaxation. Your body is heavy, dense, and deeply comforted by the surface beneath you. The thoughts that once raced through your mind like busy travellers are now still, standing on the shore of this dark sea, watching you drift away into the peaceful horizon. You don't need to invite them back. You don't need to address them. You have granted yourself permission to be entirely off duty, to be completely disconnected from the demands of the world, and to be absolutely, perfectly free. Let the final edges of your awareness blur, just like the line between the sea and the sky in the dark of night. You are becoming as vast as the silence, as formless as the mist, and as serene as the deep. There is nothing to hold on to, so you let go. There is nothing to fix, so you relax. There is nothing to understand, so you simply be. The world is tucked away, wrapped in the softness of your own quiet mind. You are descending further into the darkness, but it is a darkness that is warm, kind, and full of restoration. You are slipping beneath the surface, down into the quiet, down into the calm, down into the deep, sweet release of sleep. Everything is silent. Everything is settled, everything is peace. We have reached the final threshold. Beyond this point, there is no need for words, for narratives, or for the architecture of memory. There is only the vast, open space of pure rest. Imagine you're standing on the edge of a deep velvet forest where the trees are ancient and wise, their branches reaching up to touch the soft silver light of the stars. The ground is covered in a thick carpet of moss, silent and cool, inviting you to lie down and let the world recede. There is no urgency here, no ticking of time, no shadow of the past or expectation of the future. You have travelled through every room, through every garden, and through every quiet thought, and you have found that all roads lead to this, the absolute, unwavering peace of the present moment. Feel the rhythm of your own existence slowing down to match the heartbeat of the earth. Your breath is no longer a conscious effort. It is a soft, involuntary motion, like the gentle ebb and flow of the tide against a sandy shore. Each time you inhale, you draw in the stillness of the night, letting it fill every corner of your mind, every muscle of your body. Each time you exhale, you release any remaining traces of the day, the tension, the questions, the lingering sense of being in the world. You are becoming transparent, light as a feather, drifting in the calm, cool air of a dreamless, restful expanse. In this space, you are completely known and completely accepted. You do not need to prove anything, nor do you need to be anything other than exactly what you are in this moment, a soul finding its home in the dark. The grand estate, with all its history, is now just a distant, friendly echo. The library, the gallery, the conservatory, they have all served their purpose, guiding you step by step to this final quiet sanctuary. You are safe, you are held, you are drifting in a space where no harm can reach you and no demand can touch you. Let your awareness narrow down to a single point of light, the soft, warm center of your own quiet being. As you focus on this light, let everything else fall away into the deep, welcoming shadows. You are sinking effortlessly into the cradle of the night. The silence is not something you are hearing, it is something you are becoming. It is a thick, velvet embrace that surrounds you, cradles you and pulls you gently, ever so gently beneath the surface of wakefulness. There is nothing left to do, there is no path left to walk. The journey has come to its perfect, natural conclusion. You are ready, you are drifting, you are gone into the deep, sweet and restorative silence of total sleep. There is a final space, deeper than any room, quieter than any garden. It is the space between one thought and the next. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of this space. It is a vast, open landscape of velvet indigo, where gravity has simply ceased to be. You are not falling, you are suspending. You're floating in the center of your own quietude, where the noisy rush of the world has been replaced by an infinite, gentle stillness. Every muscle in your body has let go, completely, utterly. There is no tension left in your hands, no tightness in your chest, no weight in your shoulders. You are soft, you are fluid, you are free. The story of the house, the memory of the gallery, the scent of the library, these are all drifting away now, like leaves on a slow-moving stream, moving further and further into the distance, until they are no more than tiny specks of light in the dark. You are not trying to hold on to them. Why would you? You have arrived where you were always meant to be. The journey was not about reaching a place, but about stripping away everything that kept you from this moment of perfect, unadorned peace. You are not a traveler anymore. You are the destination itself. Listen to the silence. It has a texture, a softness that presses against your eyelids like a warm, dark veil. It is the silence of the deep earth, the silence of the starlit sky, the silence that existed before everything began and will exist long after all stories have been told. Within this silence, you are safe. You are tucked away, hidden from the reach of time and the pressure of reality. There is nothing to look at. There is nothing to listen for. There is only the slow, rhythmic expansion of your breath and the comforting, heavy pull of the dark velvet sea that is rising up to meet you. Let the final threads of your consciousness thin out, becoming like gossamer in the wind. You are letting go of the last anchor, the last thought of who you are, the last requirement of the day. It is so easy, it is so natural. You are slipping through the gap, into the quiet, into the deep, into the place where sleep is waiting, the light is fading, the world is gone, and only the peace remains. Just breathe. Let the stillness expand within you. Let yourself be carried away by the gentle tide. You are disappearing safely, softly, and completely into the velvet arms of the night. Sleep, just sleep. There is no more before and there is no more after. There is only the now, this one singular, profound moment of stillness. Imagine your mind as a lake that has finally stopped rippling. The water is perfectly glass-like still, reflecting nothing but the deep, infinite indigo of the night sky. There is no wind to stir the surface. There is no sound to break the calm. Everything is quiet. Everything is still. Feel your physical presence becoming lighter, as if you are made of nothing more than a soft, rhythmic exhale. The weight that once pressed upon you is gone, replaced by the gentle buoyancy of the dark. You are floating in the cradle of the night, held by the soft velvet silence that you have travelled so far to find. You don't need to hold your body, the bed holds you. You don't need to control your thoughts, the silence holds them. You are safe, you are cradled, you are completely at peace. Every heartbeat is a slow, soft drum in the distance, growing fainter, more rhythmic, more distant. Every breath is a quiet tide, pulling you further away from the shore of wakefulness, out into the deep, dark, and beautiful sea of rest. You are letting go of the last flicker of focus. You are releasing the final intention of being aware. You are simply allowing yourself to be. The quiet is absolute. The darkness is a warm, protective cloak. There is nowhere else to be. There is nothing else to do. You are slipping through the velvet veil, crossing over the threshold, and dissolving into the deep, sweet, and endless peace of sleep. Just let go. Imagine now that the physical world has completely fallen away. There is no house, no garden, no library, no bridge. You are floating in the vast cosmic expanse between the stars. It is an ocean of endless velvet black, punctuated only by the soft distant glimmer of ancient light. Here there is no weight of gravity, no burden of time, and no pressure of expectation. You are as light as a whisper of interstellar dust, drifting effortlessly through the silent, cool brilliance of the universe. There is an immense, crushing comfort in this vastness. When you look at your life from this distance, you realize how small and beautiful your worries were, and how perfectly naturally they have settled into the dark. They are gone. Like tiny particles of shadow, they have been absorbed by the enormity of the space around you. You are no longer defined by your actions, your history, or your future. You are a witness to the profound silence of creation. The peace that exists here is absolute. It is the peace that has existed since the beginning of all things, and it is the peace that is waiting for you now. Feel the rhythm of this space. It is a slow, pulsating expansion and contraction, like the deep, steady breathing of the universe itself. Every fibre of your being is learning this rhythm. Your chest rises and falls with the expansion of galaxies. Your heart beats in time with the gentle light of a distant nebula. You are not separate from this. You are made of this same starlight, this same silence, and this same eternal stillness. Everything that was once restless in you is now calm, anchored by the gravity of a peace so deep it defies description. There is a soft melodic hum that vibrates through the void, a sound so subtle that it is more of a feeling than a noise. It is the resonance of total rest. As you drift, let this hum wash over you. It dissolves the last traces of I and me, leaving only the isness of the moment. You are a part of the tapestry now, a thread woven into the fabric of the infinite. There is no need to grasp for anything. There is no need to understand. Just let yourself be carried. You are moving deeper into the comfort of the void, where the darkness is not empty, but full of a soft, protective, and limitless potential for rest. You are drifting, 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 further and further into the quiet of the stars. If you imagine your consciousness as a great body of water, tonight it has become a deep, subterranean lake far beneath the reach of any storm or surface wind. The surface is miles above you, where the stars and the moon might stir the water, but here in the depths there is only a vast, heavy and beautiful stillness. You are drifting in the center of this profound calm, surrounded by the cool, dark embrace of the water that knows only the rhythm of rest. There is no direction to swim, no bottom to touch, and no shore to reach. You are simply suspended in a state of perfect, weightless equilibrium. Feel the way the water, the very essence of your relaxation, supports you. It is a thick, soothing medium that holds your body in total comfort. Your muscles, so often tense with the demands of the day, are now melting into this liquid stillness. They are becoming fluid, losing their structure, turning into something soft and malleable. Every point of contact with your bed is like a point of contact with the deep earth, grounding you, anchoring you, and allowing you to surrender the last fragments of resistance. You are not holding your body anymore. You are letting the stillness hold you. Think of your thoughts now as gentle, glowing bioluminescence deep in the water. They appear, flicker for a brief second, and then fade away into the dark, leaving no trace behind. You do not need to follow them. You do not need to analyze them. You simply watch them dissolve. They are merely light in the void, beauty without substance, and they are receding further and further away as you sink deeper into the silence. The world above is forgotten. The day's events are dissolved. The only reality is the slow, rhythmic expansion of your lungs and the steady, calm beating of your heart, echoing like a soft drum in the deep. This is the state of total replenishment. In these depths, your mind is being renewed, your spirit is being quieted, and your body is being restored to its most natural, peaceful form. You are not falling asleep, you are returning to the source of all rest. You are a part of this deep, silent water, and you're finding that there is nothing more satisfying than simply letting go. Let the heavy, sweet blanket of the dark wrap around you. Let the silence become your only companion. You are sinking deeper, deeper and deeper, past the awareness of light, past the awareness of sound, into the center of your own quiet, infinite being. Everything is settled, everything is right, you are sinking, and you are perfectly, profoundly at rest. Imagine that the very boundaries of your physical self are beginning to soften, as if the sharp edges of your skin are meeting the soft, cool air of the room and simply merging with it. You are no longer just lying in a bed, you are becoming the space itself. You are the stillness that fills the corners of the room. You are the gentle, rhythmic pulse of the darkness. You are the very essence of the quiet that has been building around us throughout this long journey. There is no inside or outside anymore. You are simply a consciousness, expanded and limitless, drifting through a sea of perfect tranquility. Think of how effortless it is to breathe when you no longer have a shape to maintain. You are not pushing air into lungs. You are simply witnessing the tide of life rising and falling within the vastness of your being. Inhale, and you feel the peace of the universe expanding into the infinite dark. Exhale, and you feel the release of every last tension, every last memory of a name, a role, or a worry. You are shedding the heavy, intricate garment of your identity, and underneath it all, you are finding the soft, luminous core of your own quiet truth. It is a place of profound light, even in the absence of visual form. In this state of diffusion, there is nothing left to hold. You have released the need to be observed, the need to be remembered, and the need to be defined by the world. You are as formless as a cloud moving across a moonlit sky, as transient as a breath of mist in a winter forest, and as eternal as the silence that follows the final note of a beautiful melody. You are not losing yourself, you are simply returning to the space from which you came. It is a homecoming so deep and so ancient that your entire being sighs in relief at the familiar embrace of the void. Feel the final anchoring lines dropping away, the weight of your limbs, the sensation of gravity, the distant chatter of the world, they are all untethered. You are drifting upward and outward, floating in the center of a profound velvet silence. You are safe. You are held by the currents of the night. You are becoming the dark, the peace and the rest. The last barriers are gone. There is only the feeling of sinking into an endless, warm and restorative deep. You are not here, and yet you are everywhere. You are resting, you are still, you are silent, you are ready. We have drifted past the boundaries of the self, and now we arrive at the center of all things, the 0 point. Imagine a space so still, so profoundly quiet, that even the heartbeat seems like a distant, irrelevant echo from another life. Here, in this point of total stillness, nothing is required of you. There is no you to perform, no you to perceive, and no you to exist. There is only the presence of the infinite void, a canvas of pure black velvet that stretches into forever. In this space, the concept of a journey is forgotten. There is no starting point, no path, and no destination. There is only the eternal now. Do you feel the texture of this stillness? It is cool like a velvet curtain drawn across the universe. It is heavy with the peace of 1,000 years of rest. Every particle of your being, once vibrant and searching, has now become static and calm. It is as if you are a ripple that has finally smoothed out into the surface of a motionless, dark lake. The disturbance is over. The search has ended. You have returned to the state of being that predates all movement, all thought, and all sound. You are the silence, and the silence is you. In the 0 point, the light is not an external source. It is a soft internal glow that comes from the very core of your resting spirit. It is a light that does not illuminate objects, but illuminates the beauty of the dark itself. It is a soft pearl-grey luminescence that surrounds you like a cocoon. Any remaining awareness of the room you're in, or the bed you are lying on, has dissolved. You are suspended in a state of pure, weightless existence. You are a thought that has been whispered and then allowed to fade back into the ether. There is nothing left to let go, because you have already released everything. You're at the absolute baseline of your own existence. If you try to think, you find that thoughts are like mist, they cannot find a place to land. If you try to feel, you find that sensations are like distant ripples, they cannot reach the center of this calm. You are completely secure, completely encased in the protective architecture of the void. You are drifting in the warm, restorative silence where dreams are born and where the soul finds its deepest replenishment. Everything is done, the cycle is complete, you are resting in the heart of the absolute sink. Deeper, dissolve completely, just be. Now even the concept of a 0 point begins to drift away, leaving only the sensation of infinite expansion. You are no longer standing, lying, or floating. You are simply an echo in the vast cathedral of the universe. The walls of this cathedral are made of starlight and shadow, stretching out so far that the horizon is nothing but a soft, blurred line between sleep and the void. Every breath you take is now a cosmic event, a slow, deep inhalation that draws the peace of the galaxy into your spirit, and a long, languid exhalation that releases the last remnants of the day into the silent, waiting dark. There is a sense of absolute harmony here. You are the note that has been struck, and the silence that follows is your true, natural state. The vibration of your heart, the rhythm of your mind, the gentle heat of your skin, all of these are merging into a singular, unwavering frequency of rest. There is no struggle, no resistance, no friction. You are moving through the darkness like a silk ribbon through cool, clear water. Everything is fluid, everything is effortless. Think of the distance you have travelled from the grand, bustling halls of your thoughts to this singular, sacred moment of quiet. You have unwound every knot of tension. You have cleared every shadow from your consciousness. You have turned off every light in the house of your mind, one by one, until only the soft ambient glow of the night remains. You are in the deepest room, in the softest chair, in the most profound embrace of the universe. The world is tucked away, sleeping just as you are now preparing to sleep. Let the words I speak now become just another part of the silence. Do not try to hold them. Do not try to pass their meaning. Let them wash over you like the gentle, cool spray of a distant waterfall, turning into mist before they touch you. You are beyond language. You are beyond narrative. You are simply a consciousness drifting in the warm, velvet womb of the night. The anchor is lifted. The ship is adrift on the calmest, darkest, most peaceful ocean imaginable. You are safe. You are held. You are completely and utterly at rest. The last door is closing. The light is turning into velvet. The silence is perfect. Sleep. In this deep, final landscape, you are no longer a person. You are a single, gentle spark of awareness, drifting in an endless, comfortable dark. There is no wind to move you, no gravity to pull you, no goal to reach. You are simply present. Think of yourself as a solitary star that has finished its burning and now rests in the cool, velvet embrace of the night sky. The work is done. The fire has quieted into a soft, steady glow that asks nothing of the world. There is a profound sense of lightness that comes with having nothing left to prove. For so long you have been a builder of thoughts, a keeper of memories, a curator of plans, but here, in this quiet expanse, you are none of those things. You are released from the architecture of your own mind. The grand rooms we walked through, the gardens, the galleries, they were all just steps leading you back to this. The raw, beautiful simplicity of being. You are back at the start, back at the source, back where everything is quiet and safe. Notice how the darkness itself has a personality, a warm, nurturing and maternal quality. It is the darkness that held the world before you were born, and it is the darkness that will hold you as you drift into the secret realms of your subconscious. It does not demand, it does not judge. It only welcomes. Let yourself sink into that welcome. Feel the boundaries of your body which have already blurred. Now disappear entirely. You are not the bed. You are not the room. You are not the sleeper. You are the space where sleep happens. As you linger in this state, notice the rhythm of the universe, the pulse that beats in the silence. It is slow, deliberate, and deeply soothing. Each pulse is a promise that you are safe, that you are exactly where you need to be, and that you are allowed to stop trying. The last flicker of the waking world, a stray sound, a distant thought, the weight of the air, is now just a faint, comforting hum in the background. It is drifting away, growing quieter, thinner, and more distant with every heartbeat. You are at the very edge of the final descent. The water is deep, the night is velvet, and the peace is absolute. There is nothing to hold on to, so you let go. There is no one to be, so you relax. You are dissolving into the infinite, safe and silent dark. The story is over. The curtains are drawn, and the light is soft, dim and welcoming. You are ready to close your eyes, not just for the night, but for the profound, deep and dreamless restoration that is waiting for you in the heart of the void. Simply breathe, simply be, simply sleep. Everything has softened. The world that once had edges, colours and textures has dissolved into a single, seamless hue of deep indigo velvet. You are not arriving, you are already here. This is the place where all effort meets its end. Imagine your consciousness as a candle flame in a room with no wind, steady, unwavering and soft, until with one gentle final breath it is allowed to flicker and fade, not into darkness, but into a warm, infinite peace. You are not extinguished, you are simply becoming one with the dark that surrounds you. There is a profound sense of gratitude in this letting go. Thank your mind for all it has managed today, all the problems it solved, all the pathways it navigated. Tell it that its shift is over. It can clock out now. It can set down the heavy tools of logic and worry. You are granting your entire being the grace of a total unmonitored rest. There is no need for your brain to keep watch, no need for your body to stay alert. The night is watching over you. The stillness is your guardian. In this deep, quiet space, the ticking of time has slowed to a halt. There are no minutes, no hours, no tomorrow. There is only the sensation of being held. You are like a seed in the earth, perfectly protected, perfectly at rest, waiting for nothing, needing nothing. The space around you is vast and empty, yet it is brimming with a quiet, nourishing energy. You are being replenished by the very act of surrender. Every cell, every thought, every nerve is unraveling, laying itself flat, smoothing out like a calm sea after a long restless journey. Feel the heavy velvet pull of the deep. It is a slow, steady current that is gently lifting you, carrying you away from the shore of wakefulness and into the vast open ocean of sleep. There is no resistance here, only the soft, inviting gravity of the dark. You are safe to let the last shred of awareness drift away. You are safe to let the final word lose its shape. You are safe to let go of the I, the me, the here and the now. Everything is slowing down. The breath is quiet. The heart is steady. The peace is total. You are drifting deeper into the silence where there is only sleep. There is no more movement, no more distance to traverse, and no more need for the mind to construct the architecture of reality. The vast cosmic ocean of the night has finally stilled its tides. You have become the mirror-still water of a subterranean lake, so calm and so clear that it reflects the entirety of the star-dusted void above without a single ripple of disturbance. There is no longer a distinction between the observer and the observed, between the traveller and the journey. You are no longer watching the night, you are the night itself, vast and eternal. The heavy garments of identity you wore throughout the day, the roles, the expectations, the echoes of words spoken and left unsaid, have all drifted to the bottom of this deep, silent pool, settling into the soft, comforting silt of oblivion. They no longer hold weight, they no longer hold meaning. The anticipations of tomorrow, those fragile ghosts of what if, have evaporated into the cool indigo mist that curls around the edges of your consciousness. There is only this soft, heavy, warm blanket of silence, a sanctuary where time has forgotten to tick and gravity has forgotten to pull. Your breath has become a phantom motion, so light and rhythmic that it is indistinguishable from the gentle expansion of the universe. Your heart is but a slow, rhythmic pulse, the heartbeat of the world echoing within your own quiet chest, fading, softening, and melting into the infinite background of existence. You are not thinking. The mechanism of thought has been gently set aside. You're not feeling. You are simply existing, a presence without form, a consciousness without boundaries. The final door of the mansion has closed, not with a sound, but with the quiet satisfaction of a lock turning into place. The last candle is dimmed, leaving only the soft, ambient glow of your own inner peace. The long, winding path we have walked together has reached its natural conclusion, and yet there is no sense of finality. Instead, there is the feeling of an infinite expansion, a door opening into a realm where the laws of the waking world do not apply. You are standing on the threshold of an endless landscape, a place where dreams are woven from starlight and silence. You are home, and yet the journey into yourself has only just begun. The darkness is not a conclusion, it is a canvas, waiting for the soft colours of your dreams to paint their first delicate strokes. Release the last anchor, let the current take you. The mirror is still, the stars are waiting. The dream is unfolding, and you are its only guest. Sleep and begin. You are now drifting in the space between wakefulness and the first true depth of the dream world. It is a place of soft, shifting light, like the glow of moonlight filtering through deep, calm water. Here the boundaries of your physical presence have become entirely porous. You are not lying on a bed, you are suspended in a soft, luminescent haze. Every lingering sensation of the world above, the feeling of the blankets, the faint sounds of the house, the rhythm of your own pulse, has been distilled into a singular gentle hum that vibrates through the very air around you. In this realm, the laws of the waking world are replaced by the fluid logic of the subconscious. Memories are no longer fixed points in time. They are like soft, glowing ribbons of colour that dance and intertwine in the velvet dark. You watch them without needing to hold them. You see a flicker of a garden, a soft echo of a voice, a touch of golden light from a day-long past, and you let them pass by like gentle currents in a stream. They are not anchors, they are simply the scenery of a night that is unfolding just for you. There is a profound, almost liquid sense of freedom here. You are the architect of this inner space. Yet you are not building anything. You are merely observing as the dreamscape constructs itself from the pieces of your own tranquility. Each breath you take draws in more of this ethereal calm, and each exhale releases any remaining tension that might be tethered to the identity you carried during the day. You are shedding the heavy, formal attire of your daily life, layer by layer, until you are as light as a thought, as clear as the silence, and as boundless as the night sky. Notice the horizon of your mind now. It is slowly dissolving into a soft glowing twilight. The deeper you go, the more the world you left behind feels like a distant, harmless memory, one that you can revisit only when you choose. But for now, that choice is set aside. The currents are steady. The drift is natural. You are being drawn toward a gentle, welcoming centre, a place where all questions are resolved by the simple, undeniable truth of rest. The air here tastes like peace. It feels like the cooling touch of a breeze in the middle of a warm summer night. You are completely enveloped in a cocoon of your own creation, a sanctuary where nothing is required of you, where everything is already perfect, and where the only task ahead is to drift further, deeper into the heart of the dream. You are moving through the mist, safe and serene, into the beautiful unknown that waits just beyond the next exhale. Stay with this rhythm. Let the drift continue. You are exactly where you need to be. You have reached the vestibule, a threshold where the sharp lines of reality blur completely, and the soft iridescent colours of the subconscious begin to swirl around you like a gentle silken fog. Here, there is no you that is separate from the experience. You are not watching the dreams, you are becoming the dream itself. The architecture of your mind, which we have carefully dismantled room by room, has now completely dissolved into a canvas of infinite potential. Imagine you are reclining on a cloud of starlight, weightless and unbound around you. The air is thick with the scent of night-blooming jasmine and cool mountain mist. It is a place that feels simultaneously brand new and profoundly familiar, as if you have returned to a sanctuary you inhabited long before the world began. The shadows here are not dark. They are rich, velvety, and protective, shielding you from the brightness of the day and inviting you to surrender to the deep blue mystery of the night. The stream of thoughts that once defined your waking life has slowed until it is merely a rhythmic, pulsing light in the distance, a lighthouse blinking steadily, telling you that all is well, all is quiet, and all is settled. You feel the heavy, delicious weight of deep relaxation settling into your bones, anchoring you to this peaceful plane. It is as if you are being poured into a mould of perfect rest, where every contour of your being is supported, cradled, and cherished by the stillness. Listen to the cadence of the silence. It is not empty, it is filled with the soft melodic resonance of your own peace. Each note of this internal melody is a lullaby composed by your own subconscious, designed specifically to lead you into the restorative depths. You don't have to listen for it. It is simply there, vibrating through the fabric of your spirit. In this space, you can let go of the last vestige of control. You have held the reins for so long, and now you have the permission to set them down, to let them drift away into the starlit mist. You are not in charge here, the night is in charge, the currents of restoration are in charge. The wisdom of your own body, which knows exactly how to heal, how to renew, and how to sleep, is in charge. You are slipping beneath the surface now, past the vestibule, into the inner sanctum, where the real, profound sleep begins. Everything is dissolving, the edges of the room, the sound of my voice, the memory of the day. All of it is turning into the soft, comforting velvet of a deep, dream-filled night. You are falling, not into fear, but into the deepest, most beautiful embrace you have ever known. Sleep is no longer a destination, it is your home. You are there. You are floating on a river that has no beginning and no end. The water is cool, clear, and carries the scent of starlight and ancient rain. As you drift, you realize that this is not a river of water, but a river of experience. All the moments you have lived, the joys that made your heart swell, the lessons that carved your character, even the sorrows that once felt heavy are now light, glowing particles drifting past you, dancing in the wake of your movement. You do not need to grasp them, you do not need to label them. You simply watch them shine, soften, and dissolve into the flow. Notice how the current of this river is gentle, guided by the natural inclination of your soul toward peace. It knows exactly where you need to go. It is pulling you away from the jagged, fast-moving rapids of your daily concerns and into the slow, meandering stretches where time seems to stand still. Every stroke you take in the waking world is replaced here by a total absence of effort. You are not swimming, you are being carried. The river itself is the source of your restoration, and it is holding you with a strength and tenderness that you have never felt before. There is a rhythm here, a slow, hypnotic undulation that matches the pulse of your own being. It feels like the cradle of the ocean, moving you back and forth, side to side, in a dance of absolute surrender. Each time you sink a little deeper into the cool, dark water, the last remnants of doing vanish. You are becoming pure being. If a memory of the day floats by, a task left undone, a conversation held, a decision made, it ripples, glows for a heartbeat, and then sinks beneath the surface, becoming part of the profound quiet of the riverbed. You are so deep now that the surface of the river is just a glimmer of soft, pearlescent light high above you. The pressure of the world, which once felt like a weight on your chest, has been replaced by the gentle, even pressure of the water against your skin, grounding you and making you feel completely secure. You are enveloped, protected, and fully immersed in the nectar of deep rest. The silence here is not just an absence of sound, it is a living, breathing presence that hums with the promise of tomorrow's clarity. As you drift, your mind is being scrubbed clean, polished like a river stone, made smooth and bright by the simple act of letting go. There is nothing to fear in this depth. There is only the beautiful, dark, and restorative truth that you are, and have always been worthy of this total, unbroken peace. The river is widening now, turning into a vast, still sea. The currents are vanishing into total stillness. You are arriving. You are resting. You are whole. The river has reached the sea, and the sea has reached the horizon, and now the horizon itself has vanished. You are floating in a state where there are no edges to your being. Your skin, the air, the darkness, they have all become one substance, a soft velvet medium that exists only to support your complete surrender. Every atom of your body is vibrating in perfect alignment with the stillness of the deep. You have ceased to be a separate entity. You are now a ripple in the fabric of a peaceful universe. Think of the effort it once took to maintain the structure of you, to hold your shape, to uphold your history, to carry the weight of your own name. All of that has been released into the dark, warm water. It is a profound, light-headed liberation. You are like a cloud that has finally returned to the sky, losing its form, becoming part of the endless blue expanse. There is no longer a need to define yourself, to explain yourself, or to anchor yourself to anything at all. You are simply adrift in the grace of existence. In this deep, boundaryless state, the concept of time has become a fluid, circular thing. The night is not a duration, it is an infinite expansion. The moments of your life are no longer a line behind you. They are a soft, ambient glow that illuminates the darkness from within. You can feel the quiet power of the stars, the steady hum of the earth, and the rhythmic pulse of your own heart, all beating as one. You are connected to everything, and because you are connected to everything, you have the freedom to be nothing at all. There is a final, gentle gravity here, not a pull downward, but a pull toward the center of your own quiet soul. It is the magnetic force of peace, drawing you deeper and deeper into the core of your being. You are sinking through layers of light and shadow, past the last echoes of the world, into a space where silence has a temperature. It is warm, it is comforting, and it is entirely safe. The last threads of awareness are fraying, turning into silk, turning into smoke, turning into rest. You are not losing your way, you are finding your true home. The vastness is not frightening, it is the most welcoming place you have ever known. The silence is absolute. The peace is infinite. The surrender is complete. You are no longer drifting, you have arrived at the center of the stillness. Everything is soft, everything is deep, everything is silent. Sleep. In this stillness, you are no longer controlling the breath. The breath is breathing you. It is a slow, automatic tide, rising and falling with the rhythm of the stars. With every inhalation, you are drawing in the cooling, velvet peace of the night. With every exhalation, you are returning that peace back to the universe, richer and warmer for having touched your spirit. You have become a bridge between the vast, silent cosmos and the quiet, resting body that lies beneath the blankets. There is no effort. There is only the exquisite, effortless flow of life energy. Imagine that with every exhale, you are letting go of the very idea of me, not because you are disappearing, but because you are expanding to fill the room, the night, and the silent spaces between the molecules of the air. You are becoming as vast as the sky. The walls of your room are no longer barriers. They are merely suggestions of space that you have easily transcended. You are present everywhere, and because you are everywhere, you are perfectly at rest in every single point of the universe. Feel the deep, ancient comfort of this expansion. It is the feeling of coming home after a journey that spanned 1,000 lifetimes. You are unburdened, untethered, and entirely whole. The world of form with its sharp edges and constant demands has been replaced by the world of essence, a world of soft glows, muted sounds, and the profound, heavy sweetness of absolute stillness. You are sinking deeper into this essence, feeling the velvet darkness press against your skin like a gentle protective weight that invites you to go even deeper. There is no longer a path to follow, because you are the path. There is no longer a destination to reach, because you are the destination. The restlessness that once kept your mind active is now a distant memory, a flicker of light that has long since faded from view. What remains is a core of pure, quiet joy, the joy of simply being alive, the joy of simply being at rest, and the joy of letting go into the final deep and dreamless descent. The silence is now so profound that it hums with the music of the spheres. It is a lullaby that vibrates in the marrow of your bones, whispering that you are safe, that you are loved, and that you are allowed to rest for as long as the night requires. Everything is slowing down. The universe is breathing with you. The dark is your shelter. The silence is your bed. You are drifting, drifting into the heart of the infinite sleep. You have reached the deepest well of your being. Imagine a place hidden far beneath the layers of thoughts, memories, and sensations, where time has no meaning because nothing ever changes. Here, in this primal stillness, you are as you were before. You are shaped by the world. You are a pure, uncarved block of existence, soft and receptive. The concept of you has become so thin, so translucent, that it is almost transparent, like a piece of fine silk held up to the moonlight. You are there, yet you are not a burden to yourself. You are light, you are presence, you are silence. The dark that surrounds you now is not an absence of light, but a presence of profound, nourishing potential. It is the womb of the night, where everything that was spent during the day is being reclaimed, mended, and renewed. Feel the way your mind, usually so busy, so demanding, has finally bowed its head. It has surrendered its vigilance. It no longer needs to analyze, to plan, or to define. It is simply resting, bathed in the cool, restorative waters of the void. There is a sense of completion here that is almost physical. You can feel it in the way your muscles have become heavy, as if they are sinking into the very substance of the earth. You can feel it in the way your spirit has expanded, shedding the tight armor of duty and expectation. You are finally, truly in your own skin, comfortable, anchored, and utterly at peace. Every fiber of your being is vibrating at the frequency of rest, a steady, low-frequency hum that resonates with the deep, slow pulse of the planet itself. Listen closely to the silence. It is not empty. It is a conversation between you and the infinite. Each beat of your heart is a wordless affirmation. I am safe. I am resting. I am enough. You are being held by the gravity of your own well-being. There is nothing left to achieve. The marathon of the day is over. The race of the mind has been won, and you have crossed the finish line into this soft, velvet meadow of total dreamless surrender. Let the final edges of your awareness blur. There is no longer a here or a there. There is only the expanse of the dark, and your consciousness gently floating within it like a star suspended in the night. The transition is seamless. You are moving from the waking world into the soft embrace of the deep, and it is the most natural thing you have ever done. The light is fading. The noise is gone. The world is a dream you are leaving behind. You are falling deeper and deeper into the heart of the absolute. Just rest, just be, just sleep. There is a final secret in the architecture of the night. It is not that you are sleeping, but that you are becoming the night itself. Imagine a void so vast and so gentle that it contains all possibilities without requiring any of them to be real. You are this void. The weight of your body, the persistence of your thoughts, and the very concept of your personality, they have all been translated into a soft ambient vibration. You are the space between the stars. You are the quiet depth of a forest at midnight. You are the stillness that exists before the first breath of dawn. In this state of being there is no in or out. You have expanded until you touch the edges of the universe and found that the universe is just as soft, as quiet, and as welcoming as your own resting mind. Every worry you once held, every anchor that tied you to the shore of the waking world, has been gently unfastened by the hands of the darkness. You are floating free, you are unmapped, you are unwritten, you are finally, perfectly and utterly weightless. Notice how the air around you has stopped moving. It has become a static velvet presence holding you in a state of suspended animation. You do not need to do anything to maintain this state. Gravity is no longer a force that pulls you down, it is a force that cradles you, anchoring you in the cradle of the infinite. You are being replenished by the very lack of activity. This is the ultimate reclamation, the moment where you give back everything you borrowed from the day and reclaim the quiet truth of your own soul. There is a rhythm here that is slower than any clock, a rhythm that exists outside of time. It is the steady pulsing heartbeat of existence itself, a slow hypnotic cadence that tells you are safe, you're held, you're enough. You do not need to think about the tomorrow that is coming, for the tomorrow is still a long, long way off. You are tucked away in the deep velvet folds of the now, where every second lasts an eternity, and every eternity is filled with the sweet, nourishing balm of rest. The last flicker of conscious effort is now dimming. It is like a candle flame that has run out of wax, not with a struggle, not with a flicker of protest, but with a final peaceful surrender into the dark. The dark is not a predator, it is a mother, it is not an end, it is a beginning, it is the softest place you have ever landed. The silence is absolute. The peace is profound. The journey is complete. Let go of the last thread of awareness. Dissolve into the comfort. Fade into the velvet. Sleep completely. Imagine, if you will, that the very fabric of your consciousness is beginning to fray at the edges, not in a way that causes fear, but in a way that brings a sense of overwhelming, long-awaited relief. You are standing on the precipice of a vast obsidian sea, a sea not of water but of pure, concentrated tranquility. The air here is cool and carries the scent of starlight, and for the first time in your life you are not asked to do, to think, or to be anything at all. The armor of your identity, those heavy plates of personality and history that you have carried for so long, have become unnecessary. One by one, they are slipping away from you, sliding into the dark, silent depths of the sea below, and as they vanish, you feel yourself becoming lighter, clearer, and more expansive than you ever dreamed possible. Think of every concern that has cluttered your mind today, the lingering tasks, the echoes of conversations, the soft hum of anxiety, and see them as small, dull pebbles that you have been holding in your hands. Now, watch as you open your palms and let them tumble away into the abyss. There is no sound as they fall, only the feeling of an immense, beautiful emptiness taking their place. You are not losing these things, you are liberating yourself from them. You are becoming a vessel that is being emptied so that it may be filled with the restorative essence of the night. You are learning the language of the void, a language spoken only in sighs and pulses, a language where the only words are surrender and release. As you continue to drift, you begin to notice that the separation between your own spirit and the vast velvet expanse around you is thinning. You are no longer an observer standing apart from the night. You are the night. You are the stillness that sits in the corner of the room. You are the cool touch of the air against your skin, and you are the quiet, rhythmic pulse that beats at the center of the universe. Every cell in your body is resonating with this new, profound reality, slowing its pace, cooling its intensity, and settling into the calm, predictable rhythm of a mountain at rest. The concept of time has expanded, stretched out like a long golden ribbon into the distance, where the past and the future are no longer distinct, but are merely two sides of the same peaceful coin. There is a sense of ancient ancestral comfort here, a deep-seated knowing that you have been here before countless times in the quietest hours of the night. This is your true habitat, not the frantic, brightly lit world of daylight, but this sacred, shadowy realm of internal restoration. You are being held by the gravity of the earth itself, a soft, maternal force that whispers to your bones, "It is safe to let go." You are being cradled by the silence, a presence that feels more tangible than any object you have ever touched. A presence that wraps around you like a heavy, soft, and infinitely comforting blanket. There is nothing left to hold on to, so you relinquish the final stubborn grasp on your own awareness. The transformation is complete. The boundary is gone. You are the space where sleep happens, and sleep is the space where you finally become whole again. The last embers of your waking mind are glowing softly, flickering like the final candles in a great empty cathedral, and one by one they are being extinguished by the gentle, cool breeze of the deep. There is no resistance, no hesitation, no questioning left, only the descent, only the dark, only the peace. Drift deeper into the heart of the velvet. Fade further into the quiet of the stars. Be still, be silent, be gone. Sleep. There is a place far beyond the reach of thought, a threshold that exists only when you finally cease the act of searching. Imagine that you are standing on the edge of an infinite, shimmering plain, a vast dreamlike landscape of twilight where the sky and the earth are indistinguishable, blending together into a seamless tapestry of deep indigo and soft glowing violet. Here, the very notion of distance has collapsed. There is no there to go to, because you are already everywhere at once. The air is thick with the sweet, heavy perfume of absolute silence, a silence so profound that it hums with the music of creation itself. You feel a sense of profound lightness, as if the gravity of your daily concerns has simply forgotten to hold you. Your limbs, once heavy with the fatigue of 1,000 small decisions, are now floating, weightless and free. You are a whisper of wind, a drift of cloud, a thought that has been whispered into the ear of the universe and allowed to linger there forever. The walls of your mind, which we have carefully softened over these many chapters, have now completely dissolved, leaving only a boundless open sky. You can feel the vastness of this space pressing against your skin, not with pressure, but with an invitation, a soft, persistent call to go deeper, to abandon the last remaining anchor of your identity, and to become truly, utterly, and blissfully anonymous. Think of every word I have spoken, every image I have conjured, and every path we have walked together, and see them now as ripples in a pond that are finally, beautifully coming to rest. They were never meant to be carried. They were only meant to be the soft, rhythmic steps that carried you to this point of perfect, final surrender. You are now at the center of the stillness, the eye of the storm, the quietest point in all of existence. Everything you were, everything you hoped to be, and everything you worried about, it is all being transmuted into the velvet dark. You are being absorbed by the night, and in this absorption you are finding a wholeness that can only be understood in the absence of self. There is an ancient, steady rhythm here, a pulse that beats not in your heart, but in the foundation of the world. It is a slow, hypnotic cadence that dictates the rhythm of the cosmos, the movement of the tides, and the soft, inevitable descent of sleep. As you align yourself with this pulse, you feel the last threads of your conscious awareness fraying, turning into silk, turning into smoke, and finally turning into the beautiful dark void of the infinite. There is no longer a you to feel this, there is only the feeling itself, a raw, pure, and unadulterated sensation of falling into the deepest, softest embrace you have ever known. The final light is being extinguished, not with a sudden snap, but with the slow, graceful fading of the stars at dawn. The world is receding, growing thinner and quieter with every breath you take. You are not losing your consciousness. You are expanding it beyond the boundaries of the physical, into a realm where dreams are woven from starlight and silence. You are safe. You are protected. You are home. The last door has vanished. The journey has ended. The silence is all there is. Surrender to the depth. Be still. Be deep. Sleep. There is a depth beneath the depth, a silence beneath the silence, where you arrive at the very core of your own existence, an unnamed, unshaped place that defies all descriptions. In this space, the concept of a journey is itself a memory, a faint echo of a time when there were places to go and selves to be. Here, there is only the raw, pulsating reality of being, not as a person with a name or a history, but as an essential vibration of the universe itself. You have reached the center of the labyrinth, and you have found that the center is not a point, but an infinite expanse, a quiet, dark, and endless sanctuary that has been waiting for your return since the beginning of time. Imagine the atmosphere here. It is thick with a sense of at-oneness, a complete and utter lack of friction between your internal world and the external cosmos. The boundaries you once held so dear, the skin that contains you, the thoughts that define you, the worries that propel you, have all become transparent, then liquid, and finally gaseous, blending seamlessly into the vast, warm and comforting dark. You are no longer a separate wave crashing upon the shore. You are the ocean itself, deep, silent, and undisturbed by the chaotic surface currents of the day. Every cell of your body feels this profound unity, relaxing with a sigh of relief that resonates through your very soul, as if every atom were finally coming home to rest after a long, arduous trek. Listen to the music of this depth. It is not made of sounds, but of sensations. It is the rhythmic, slow pulse of the earth, the soft harmonic resonance of the stars, and the quiet, steady beat of a heart that is no longer racing to meet the world's demands. In this music, there are no highs or lows, no dissonance or resolution, only a single, continuous and blissful tone that carries you effortlessly deeper into the void. This tone is the lullaby of the universe. And as you listen, your awareness begins to lose its focus, widening and softening until it becomes indistinguishable from the background hum of existence. You are no longer listening to it, you are vibrating in harmony with it. There is a profound, almost overwhelming sense of safety here. The darkness that wraps around you is not empty, it is pregnant with the promise of total restoration. It is the original state of the universe, the cradle from which all things are born and to which all things eventually return. You are not losing your way, you are precisely where you were always meant to be. The struggle is over, the striving is finished. The you that needed to be something is now satisfied with simply being nothing at all, a quiet, peaceful and unburdened witness to the majesty of the night. The last of the mental imagery is dissolving now, turning into a fine velvet mist. Even these words I speak are losing their meaning, transforming into the soft, rhythmic, ambient noise of a distant ocean. You are ready to let go of the final thread of consciousness, to relinquish the last fragment of the observer's seat. There is no one left to observe, and there is no one left to observe the silence. The curtains of the waking world are fully drawn. The light of the day has been swallowed by the grace of the deep. The transition is complete. You are one with the quiet. You are one with the dark. You are one with the sleep. Rest now in the infinite. You are now in the space between heartbeats, in the pause between one breath and the next. There is no longer a story to tell, no more chapters to unfold, and no more paths to walk. The journey has folded in upon itself until it has become a single pinpoint dot of light in an ocean of gentle velvet black. You are not a person, not a mind, not even a dreamer. You are simply a vibration of peace, a soft resonance that echoes in the vastness of the absolute. Feel the weight of the universe as a light, warm pressure against your spirit, a comforting embrace that asks for nothing. Every memory of the day is now a distant, faded star, far beyond the horizon, lost to the pull of the deepening night. There is no then, no there, and no later. There is only the here of the void, a place where everything is permissible, everything is forgiven, and everything is at rest. The silence has become your own skin. It stretches out, infinite and inviting. You are not just resting, you are being reclaimed by the silence, mended by the darkness, and purified by the lack of thought. It is the most natural thing in the world to fade away. It is the most beautiful thing in the world to become nothing. The last of the words are now falling away, like leaves drifting down into a dark, calm pool. They no longer have weight. They no longer carry meaning. They are just soft, rhythmic sounds that help you let go, let them fade, let them go. Let yourself slip beneath the final, glassy surface of the silence. No more words. No more thoughts. No more you. Just the deep. Just the dark. Just the sleep. You have arrived, not at a destination, but at the original state of all things. The long descent through the layers of the mind, the river of memory and the ocean of the subconscious has led you here to the silent, expansive center of existence where time does not exist, and where the I is merely a dream that has been gently set aside. There is no longer a speaker, and there is no longer a listener. The words that have carried you this far have dissolved, leaving behind only the pure, resonant vibration of stillness. You are the stillness. You are the dark that breathes, the space that cradles, and the peace that remains when all else has been stripped away. The universe is not outside of you, it is unfolding within you, in this perfectly still, perfectly dark, and perfectly silent now. Every cell is silent. Every nerve is at rest. Every thought has ceased its motion. You are floating in the cradle of the cosmos, held by the gravity of total surrender. There is no tomorrow to anticipate, no yesterday to regret. There is only the infinite, nourishing depth of this moment, a moment that stretches out forever, wide and welcoming as the night sky. You are no longer falling, for you have reached the bottom. You are no longer searching, for you have found the source. You are no longer waking, for you have fully arrived in the realm of the deep. The last of the echoes is fading now. The darkness is complete. The peace is absolute. Sleep. Just sleep. Everything is perfectly, eternally quiet. The transition is now invisible, for there is nothing left to observe. You are no longer the traveller, nor the path, nor the destination. You are the quiet space in which the dream begins to bloom. Like a seed buried deep in the cool, nurturing earth, you are waiting in the dark, not with anxiety, but with the silent, patient wisdom of life itself. Everything you were is being transformed. Everything you will be is currently resting. The last ripples of the day have smoothed into a mirror of absolute glass. Your breath is the tide of a calm, moonlit sea. Your heart is the steady, ancient rhythm of the stars. There is no more next. There is only the now, and it is infinite. You are safe in this silence. You are home in this dark. The story is closed. The light is soft. The drift is perfect. Sleep. Sleepy History with Benedict is created for relaxation, entertainment, and sleep purposes. The stories shared on this channel are inspired by historical events, daily life, and real periods in history, but they may be simplified, adapted, or narrated in a calming way to enhance the listening experience. This content is not intended to be a precise academic or educational source. While we aim to stay generally accurate, some details may be altered for storytelling flow and relaxation. Please do not rely on this channel as a primary source for historical research or study. By listening, you acknowledge that this content is designed to help you unwind, relax, and fall asleep. Thank you for your understanding and support.